Alright, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do to start off on my practice plan that I wrote out earlier today. Obviously, want 100% slick track. This is mainly we're gonna talk about throttle control and try to dial you in and because I know you're a throttle smasher. Probably because don't go on the track yet. Probably because you come from the asphalt world and shit. So we're gonna try to break that habit. Try to help you learn throttle control so you can really find speed in these cars because that's a big part of late model racing, especially on the dirt side. Um, you need to have at least good throttle control to be able to compete and run towards the front. And any strength field was 1500, 2500, and 3000 plus. Throttle control has always been a main component in these big type of races. So if you can learn that, then that alone will make you a lot faster than what you are right now. So 100% slick track here at Charlotte. I'm gonna have you run about 15 to 20 laps here, as clean as you possibly can. I'm not gonna coach you at all. I'm just gonna watch how you. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna let you go out there, run about 15 or 20 laps clean. Try not to hit the wall. Try not to hit the tires. If you spin out, then we can reset and come back in. Whatever, it's fine. But I'm gonna let you go out there, run the middle of the track only. There's a reason to this, and I'll get back to it later. But like I said, I'm not going to say anything. You just go out there, do what you think is going to be fast for you, and yeah, go about 15 or 20 laps. I'll tell you when to stop.
Okay.
Just stay in the middle, half of the track as possible. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm gonna deafen in Discord and kind of talk to my for this YouTube video. So keep doing what you're doing. So I'm instantly noticing he's giving it way too much throttle. He's spinning the tires way too much, and he's staying in the gas way too much, more than he has to. He needs to roll in. He needs to roll out of the throttle and roll in. He's getting way too sideways here. If I go to far chase here, you can just look at that. He's so sideways. He's running a good line. He's staying in the middle he wants to, but right there, coming off the corner, you need to have your car pointed towards kind of how this wall here is, and he has to point it towards if he's going to try to run a slider line. And it's just you don't need to do that. So that's the bane. And this is the reason why I wanted to start my coaching session off like this, have him just run about 15 to 20 laps here, run through the middle. That way I can just see where he's at and his throttle control, and I can tell it definitely needs some work. But I figure by the end of this video, hopefully I can at least get him finding more speed coming out the exit and try to get him to learn to keep the car straight as possible. So that's kind of what I'm noticing right now. He's way too sideways. He's holding a good line. The entry is not as bad. It's okay to drive in hard even on a 100% track state, but if you don't get the car rotated or kind of straight coming off the post apex and coming off the corner, then you're not gonna have speed. And also, it's really hard to race behind somebody who's this sideways, because you don't know if someone runs the top here and they're so like sideways, like it's going to be so hard to keep off the right rear quarter panel. And if you're running the bottom, it's going to be like really hard to try to pass them there. Um, that's kind of like the big issue I'm seeing right now. But we'll work on it. See, right there is a good corner. He's keeping the car straight, but he's still giving it too much throttle coming off the exit. He needs to go straighter. So, see, right there is good. Lay off, lay off, lay off, lay off. A little bit better. I think his entry's fine. I think it's like mid apex. I think it's fine. It's just I think the exit's the most important part of the super late models here. See right there, he's way too much in the throttle, like way too much. But I'll let him run about 3 more laps here, and then I'll go into my next exercise here, try to help him out. Alright, so what I'm noticing here, your first 10 laps, you were way like too sideways throughout the whole entire corner. Like entry, you was too sideways. The middle of the corner, you was too sideways, and the exit especially, you was too sideways. After around like lap 12 to like 15-ish, you started to fix your entry a little bit more. You wasn't like going like too hard into throttle, and even like your post apex, like in the middle of the corner, like you were still like. You weren't as sideways as you were before, which is a good thing, but your exit, I noticed, like, it's a main problem I'm seeing, like, watching you in that little, like, 20 lap stint there. Like, if we can focus, it's okay. 100% track state like this, you'll probably never really see these in officials unless it's pre-gen, which to be honest, has been happening a lot here lately. Don't know why, but it is what it is. Only time you really see a track like this consistently is if like you run like a big league race or like a money race or like one of these like dirt late model tours that's 75 laps. Maybe you'll see a track like this, but it's still good to practice and learn throttle control. So like on your entry, I think you need to roll out of the throttle like way before you hit to like to the corner, and kind of stay like if you go half throttle. And we're about to do something like that with our throttle, and you'll see a big difference here. If you go like half throttle before you hit the entry, like as soon as you start to feel the car get sideways, let off to half throttle and kind of stay in there and kind of like guide your, use your wheel to like guide you where you want to go, and then like lay off just a little bit coming off the exit. You'll do a lot better job keeping the car coming straight off the corner, because that's the biggest misconception about the dirt super late model on this sim is your entry is always important. It's always important in any type of car, sprint cars, midgets, UMP, street stocks. Like your entry is obviously very, very important. But for me personally, especially on like this new build, the exit is the most important thing in the dirt super late models. If you have a good exit, if you can come off the corner straight, you'll have a better chance of gaining more speed, and I'll show you why here in a minute. I'm about to send you this picture I drew up, or I made about a week ago, and it'll pretty much explain like kind of how I want you to come off the corner. Look at those and tell me what you see. They also have the lap times on them, and you'll see like just how important it is to keep the car straight coming off the exit.
Yeah, you can see the rear end is straight. They're going down straightaways being straight.
Yeah, the first
back guide.
Yeah, the second image, the 12.521, and both of these laps were pretty much like identical, just one at the top. But I drew that line. It's like if you the 12.521 lap, you don't want to be like that because obviously your rear end's way too sideways, and like the front of your car is like it's almost aiming like you're about to try to throw a slider line. And that's probably, if you're running like that and your car is like that, like bent sideways, that's probably the only line you're going to be able to run. Because if you try to run bottom, especially at Fairbury there, you're going to have to get on the brakes so hard just to keep the car rotated, and it's going to fuck your entry up, it's going to fuck your exit up. So that's why there's a 12.521 there, and just it literally like 2.5 tenths I saved on my lap time there. I was 2 tenths faster by just keeping the car straight coming off the exit. And it's like aiming, like I can run anywhere. Like I can go to the bottom, I can run slider line, I can run the top like I wanted to. Like as long as you keep your car straight coming off the exit, just like the first image, the better lap time, it will help you out like tremendously. But going on to like our next exercise here, we're going to do basically the same thing. I'm going to have you run 15 to 20 laps clean running through the middle of the track, but this time, throughout the whole entire track, half throttle and half throttle only. Focus on keeping the car straight. That's going, and after we get done with this, we're going to compare lap times and see if it's better like that, see if it's worse, and we're just going to sit back and hopefully you'll learn something here. Just focus keeping the car straight coming off the exit. So go ahead and get to the track and run about 15 to 20 laps in the middle of the track, just like we just did before, but this time just half throttle throughout the whole entire racetrack. Don't lift, don't go full throttle, like half throttle throughout the whole entire racetrack. We're going to do this about 15 to 20 laps, and we're going to do this clean. And after that, we're going to compare the lap times. He's still having trouble keeping the car straight, but it's not like, I don't think it's as bad. Like, I'm not really worried about like the speed of lap times. I just wanted to say that just in case, just to keep an eye on it, because I didn't know if he was going to be faster, or if he was going to be slower. And right now he's a little bit slower, but we'll compare. We'll see. We'll work on it. We'll get him right. He's sliding way too much off the track. He needs to. I don't think I can't really see his throttle input. I would have to watch his telemetry, but see right there is good. He's coming up straight. That right there is good corner. 16.799. It's not bad. Right there is good. Good. Still got a little bit too bent there coming off the corner, but it was way better than it was. I think he's starting to learn now. It takes him a while to keep coming up straight. 16.5. See, he's getting better. Now, if we would actually like give it like more throttle, like right here is when I get back into the gas, and then roll out. Good. Back into the gas. 16.5. Okay, he's being more consistent now. I think it takes him a while to get going. But sometimes that happens to me too. It takes me a while. Like off of a restart. That's why I hate restarts. I like long green flag runs because that's when I feel like I'm at my best and I can actually make some shit happen. 16.6, he's last 3 laps he's fell off like a tenth, and like he's very close. And that's good. That's what I want. Like I want consistency. Like sure, he hit a 16.0 right here, he hit one right here, but he had like a couple of 16.0s. We also hit some 2s, he hit some 3s. He started off with a 4. A 3, then a 4 is like it's very like inconsistent here. But now like, he's starting to dial it in. Like he turned a 5, he turned another 5, he turned like a low 6, and he turned like a low 5. Like, this is what I want here. Like I want consistency. Another 5. Like, that's like come on. Like he's getting faster, and that's what I want. Like he's starting to learn. Keep the car straight off exit. I'm gonna tell him to do the same thing here, but this time like coming out of the corner. I'm actually gonna coach him up here. I'm gonna have him. What lap 114. Okay, I'll let him know lap 40. I'm gonna have him when he comes to the corner, let off, half throttle. But then once I feel like he has the car straight, then I'm gonna tell him to gas it up, and I'm gonna tell him to roll out of it. Stay half throttle like that, half throttle, and then gas it up. He turned a 3, dude. He's getting faster. So I love to see it. He's starting to learn. What was that? Another 3, dude. He keeps getting faster and faster and faster. I think I might let him just keep on going here because he may be able to hit a 2 here. Which if he can hit a 2, like running half throttle, like not giving it gas like at all, then that's gonna help him out a lot. Bam. There we go. There's a 2. Let's give him about 3 more laps here. What lap time was that? 3. That's fine. Like he's getting faster, man. And he's staying consistent. Like he's not turning a 2, then he's going next lap turning like a 7 or a 6. Like he's staying consistent, which is, dude, there's a 2. Alright, I'm gonna coach him up now. Alright, finish this lap and then top off the track. Okay. Go ahead and hop off the track for me. Alright, so before I give you some tips, I want you to give me your thoughts and like basically what's going through your head on that 20 lap stint compared to the first one.
You have no power.
Well, I
No,
want you to.
you can feel the rear end. It bounces middle of the corner.
Yeah.
I mean, we're using baseline, but you
Yep.
feel the rear end kind of get off the bar.
Okay. So here's the thing: the first 5 laps, kind of like we were in the first stint, the first like 5 to 10 laps, we struggled a little bit. We was not consistent. We was letting the car drift up the track way too much, still giving it too much throttle. But once you started to figure it out, your lap times got slowly better and better. Like lap 21 through 25, you were turning about 8s. You turned 1.6 on lap 24. Then you turned on lap 28. That's when you started getting consistent. You turned a 5. Then you turned another 5. Then you turned a 6, which is still not bad. Then you turn a 5, another 5. Then you turn a 4, then a 3, then a very low 3. Then you got a 2, then a 3, 2, 2, and your last lap was a 1. And that's, you turned a 16.1 going half throttle throughout the whole track, not giving it too much gas. Your fastest lap of the whole entire like run so far here was in your first stint, and that was on lap 15. You turned a 16.0, and that was basically giving a lot of throttle. So that should alone tell you that if you stay consistent and half throttle, you literally just went half throttle throughout the whole track, and you was only a 10th slower than what you were doing beforehand, giving it like way too much throttle. Like I seen an improvement on the later half of your run there. You was being way more consistent, and which I like. And I don't know if you can see like the replays or whatever. You were a lot more straighter coming off the exit, which that allowed you to get the drive coming off the corner, and that allowed you to keep on getting faster and faster and faster. And that's only half throttle. So I've already seen improvement, which makes me really happy, and it should make you happy as well. Now, what we're going to do now, we're going to do another 15 to 20 lap stint here. But this time, I'm actually going to coach you up a little bit here. I want you to do the exact same thing in the corners. Like after you get the car set, go half throttle and keep it there. And then I'm going to tell you when you should get back into like the gas like fully, okay?
Okay.
Alright, so go back out there. Still run the middle of the track. I'm not focused on running the top or the bottom right now. Stick to the middle of the track. On the straightaways, like I'll let you know when you can get back into like full throttle. But like as soon as you get the car rotated and you get to the corner, just stay half throttle until I tell you to like get back in full throttle. I'll start after you hit we'll say this is the green flag here. Okay. Half throttle, half throttle, half throttle. Get back into the gas. Okay. Half throttle, half throttle, half throttle. Get back into the gas. Okay. So half throttle, half throttle, half throttle. Get back into the gas. Good. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Back into the gas. Good. You can give it just a little bit more thought. Back into the gas. You can give it a little bit more throttle on the corner here. Back into the gas. Back in the gas.
So you want to do it when the ascent gets off the bar?
Pretty much. I'll explain the reason why. I'm just really looking at your front end here. That's all I care about right now. You're running consistent threes. You just ran 3 threes in the row, which is fine for me. I'm not too worried about speed. I'm just worried about consistency. Full throttle. Okay, there's a low 3. Just keep doing what you're doing. I'll keep telling you what to do. Full throttle. Full throttle. You just went 6 straight laps, running 3s. Pretty much the exact same lap times. You're doing good. Just keep doing what you're doing. Full throttle. Full throttle. Full throttle. Full throttle. Back into the gas. There's a 2. Keep going, you're getting faster. Back into the gas. Keep doing what you're doing. In the corners, let's give it like 3/4 with the throttle. Back into the gas.
3/4 of throttle, 3/4 of off throttle.
Of. You don't want to be full throttle in the corners, but you want to be at like 3/4. Full throttle. Full throttle. Okay, so running consistent 3s, which I like to see. Okay, there's a 2. Good shit. Keep going. We'll do 2 more laps here. You're doing exactly what you're doing. I don't even have to talk anymore. Like, I think you've got it beaten in your head now. Like, if you done, I don't even have to tell you, get back in the throttle. You kind of, it's like muscle memory now. There's a 271, so a good lap. Okay, there's a low 3. There you go. Alright, pull off the track for me. Alright, so in that little stint there, you were way more consistent, especially starting off. You turn, on lap 43, you turn a 5, which is, it's okay. I mean, it's not the greatest, but it's okay. But then, like, lap 44 through 49, you turn, like, 6 3s in a row, which is very, very consistent. That's what I want to see. I'm not too worried about speed and, like, being fast right now. I'll worry about that in a little bit. Then you turn a 4, which is not bad, but it's definitely better than a 5. It's not too terrible. Like, you're like under a 10th off of what you were running. Then you came out on lap 52, turned a 2, which is pretty damn good. Turn another 4. Then you, again, 3 laps in a row, you turn a 3. Then you turn a 2. Then you turn another 2, and then a 3. Like, you really stayed, like, running a consistent, like, 2s and 3s. Here and there, you get a 4 or maybe a 5. But you are a lot more consistent from, like, the start of your stint to, like, the end of your stint, which that's where you want to be. That's what I want to see, and that's what I've already seen improve it, and we're already like 32 minutes into the session. I'm not just saying that to just blow smoke up your ass or like say it to like be nice to you. Like,
Yeah, you are.
I swear to God, I'm not. I'm here to coach you. Like, I'm already noticed. Like, you can go back and watch the replay, and you can ask like Brent,
Yeah.
you can ask like anyone like on this team. Like, they already, I bet you they can see your improvement. Like, just watching this video alone. Just watching you from the camera view that I got here, like you're so much more consistent. I don't even know if you noticed. I mentioned like the last 5 laps there, but I didn't even have to tell you to get back in like full throttle. Like you was actually starting to do it like yourself, which is great. And that's why I kind of like shut my mouth up and just like worried more on like what you was doing on your corner than what you doing in the corner exit. Like you was a lot more straight, which is great. Like I mentioned earlier, that's what you need to be. And you was still able to like hold your line. And you was running consistent, and that's all I can ask for is like being a coach. I want consistent laps. I really don't care about the speed right now. The speed will come. We'll look at that here in just a minute. I just want to pound in throttle control and like really help you learn and improve on your throttle control. Because at the end of the day, if you have good throttle control, the speed will come, and I will always believe in that. So this next stint here, we're gonna do like a little bit short of a stint, just because I want to move some things along here. I want to focus on like racing lines and some other stuff here in a little bit. But we're gonna do one more stint here. We're gonna do about probably like 12 laps here. What I want you to do is I want you to go full throttle throughout the straightaways. I want you to let off just like a tad bit, like kind of like gradually like slow yourself down and get to like half throttle. Stay half throttle till like you get to like close to the exit, then slowly start to get back in the gas, and then when you feel like you have your car as straight as it can possibly be, then get back to the gas like fully and like be full throttle and keep on doing that and keep on doing that. Still run like middle to like lower half of the track. We're gonna run about probably 12 laps here. We'll keep it shorter than what we've been doing. If you feel like your rear end start to spin way too much, just let off the throttle, and I'll explain why that is in a little bit after we're done here. Move up a little bit on the track, like one like middle.
Move up?
Yeah, just a little bit. Like move up just a line above.
Okay.
I think the bottom's just really slow right now. You can give it a little bit more throttle, like on that little corner entry there. There you go, just like that. That's perfect, just like that. Okay, now you're back running fours. Yeah, the bottom's just really slow right now. We'll run 2 more laps here. Yeah, you can go ahead and pull off. Alright, last 3 laps there, you ran consistent 2s. Before that, you ran 2 4s in a row, then you ran a 3. A little bit slower, but also, like, the beginning of your stint, you was on the bottom, and the bottom just, on this track right now, it's just not really fast. Like, if the track ever looks like this, the bottom's probably never going to be the preferred line. Like, you needed to move up there, but that's fine. Like I said, I don't really care too much about speed right now. I'm just more worried, or, like, more, like, trying to have you learn throttle control, so, and being consistent. Um, Tips on throttle control. After this whole like coaching session's over, I'm gonna send you my notes for this. Like you'll see the practice plan I had written down, and like if you go to the bottom, you have tips. I wrote down tips on throttle control and tips on finding speed. The tips on throttle control. You need to drive the car with your foot, not the wheel. If you want the car to be more sideways, then give it more throttle. If you want the car to stay straight, give it less throttle. The only thing you need to do with the wheel is guide your car where you want it to go. If you want to run the top, then that's what you use your wheel for, and as long as your throttle control is good and you can keep it up on the top like that, that's how you drive the car and be fast. You don't ever, I think a lot of people get this confused. I don't really understand why. Especially a lot of beginners, they think just because you turn the wheel to the left, and then you turn it to the right and try to counter steer, like that's how you drive the car. You don't. You drive the car with your foot. If you want the car to get more sideways, if your car is really tight on entry, give it more throttle and it'll fix it itself. If your car is way too damn loose on entry or even on exit, guess what? Roll out of the throttle, give it less throttle, let it set on the bars, and then drive off, and that will give you your drive, and you'll be a lot more straighter coming off the exit and on entry as well. And just basically just all around the corner. So always just remember that, keep that in the back of your head. If you feel like you're too tight, you give it more throttle. If you feel like you're way too damn loose and like you're getting way too sideways come on exit, then slowly let off the throttle. And the best way I can describe that is roll out of the throttle on entry and roll into the throttle on exit. And that's kind of how I was talking about earlier. Also, this is something I do pretty much at every single track, especially on a slick track like this one. And sometimes I'll do it on a tacky track. It just depends on how tacky it is. If it's full tacky, I'm not doing it. I have lift points at every single track. Some people have lift points for visual lift points, like if you see a tire or something on the wall, and that's when you know you need to lift and let off the gas. That's okay to do. I don't necessarily do that. I don't know how many people do this, but I do it. I have an audio cue for when it's time for me to lift on entry, aka roll out of the throttle, and that audio cue is when the rev limiter sounds the loudest. Once you hear kind of like that, that's when I roll out of the throttle. And what I'm going to do here, we got 20 minutes here. I'm actually going to stream on Discord real quick, and I want you to watch my throttle input and just basically just trying to listen for the audio cue. And if you have any questions, I'm going to go about 10 laps here. If you have any questions for me, feel free to ask. I'm going to share my screen real quick. iRacing. Okay.
You are very jumpy on the stream.
Oh, I am. Okay, that's probably why I'm
Yeah.
recording. Okay, well, I will just watch my camera,
yeah,
and
watch.
you'll go back and you can watch the video and you can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's probably why. Okay, I need to fix my camera view here. Alright, that's good enough. Okay, so just watch my, you can, whatever camera angle you feel is best, whether it's cockpit, I was watching you on chase, so whichever you want to do.
Yeah.
laps are in there, about at least I think 8 or something. But anyways, let me switch my camera angle here.
But you're using the sound, but your reference point's the first tire.
Pretty much. If that's, like I said, if you want to go visual audio cue, or sorry, if you want to go visual, fucking hell, I can't speak. Visual cue, then that's fine. Like I said, some people use the visual, like something they see on the track, whether it's like the first tire, or like they look at the wall, or just sometimes it also comes down to muscle memory. Like, that's how I am. But also, like I use the audio cue. Like, as soon as I hear that rev limiter, like, sound like complete loudest when it goes, that's when I let off the throttle. I start to, and then coming off the exit, and you'll watch this back in the video. I'm gradually getting back into the throttle, and like once I'm fully straight, like past, I have to look at the markers here, but once I'm actually on the straightaway, that's when I'll actually get back into the gas fully. Yeah, just like that. Yeah, that's perfect. It's pretty much exactly why I'd lift off, and that's for both exits or both entries.
Now, right there in the middle, right there where I'm sliding the rear end,
Yeah.
is that too much throttle?
Yes.
I'm using too much throttle in the corner entry.
Maybe not quarter entry. Maybe it's just I think you're just still giving a little bit too much throttle. You're not allowing the car to set down like it should. Keep doing what you're doing. It's okay sometimes to driving hard like you're doing. See, right there is perfect. Exactly how you're doing right there. And then back into the gas. And then either sometimes I was quarter throttle, then I gradually lift up and I gradually get back into the throttle. You're doing fine though. So out there you gave it too much throttle, let it too sideways. Now it messed up. Since you messed up on that exit there, it also messed up your entry through this corner. That's why I always say the exit is the most important part of dirt racing, especially on the late models and specifically on the super late models. If you mess up your exit in 1 and 2, and you go across the track like you just did right there, guess what? It's gonna mess up your entry point on 3 and 4. And most likely, if you don't get it bent up, if you don't get it properly coming off the corners like it should, then it's also gonna mess up your exit, and it's gonna take you a couple laps before you actually get moving again. But yeah, that's always whether it's an audio cue like I do. Sometimes it's also just muscle memory, just from running so many damn laps, especially Charlotte and outdoor and all these other tracks. Whether it's an audio cue, visual cue, muscle memory, whatever it is, find something in the track that you see. It's okay, that's when I'm lifting. That's when I'm either completely off the gas, or you're slowly, gradually getting off the gas, or whatever it is. That should be find somewhere on the track to where okay, this is when I'm gonna lift. This is when I'm gonna slowly get off the throttle and let the car get bent up, let it set down properly like it should, and then slowly start to gradually increase your throttle. You should not be full throttle as soon as you come off the exit. You gotta make sure that car is as straight as you possibly can. And I'm only full throttle on the straightaways, not even barely half the straightaway. I'm barely at full throttle. Especially on tracks like these. You might see me never full throttle on the straightaways if it's a track like this. Especially if I'm racing somebody. But yeah, that's the biggest tip I can give you about throttle control. Roll out of the throttle, roll out of the throttle on entry, let the car set. If you need to give it more gas, if it's too tight, then give it just a little bit more gas. I'm not saying just completely stomp the gas, because then you'll probably spin out, especially on a track like this. But just give it just a little bit more gas, and then it'll straighten it out for you. And if you're ever too loose, then give it less gas. It's roll out of the throttle on entry, roll into the throttle on exit, keep the car straight, keep it from being sideways, and yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, you drive these cars with your foot, not the wheel. The only thing you do with the wheel is you just guide it where you want to go. You want to run middle, guess what? You use that with your wheel. If you want to run bottom, guess what? You use that with your wheel. So always try to remember that. Last 10 minutes here. First of all, do you have any questions?
Not right now at this moment.
Okay. So with the last 10 minutes here, this is where we're gonna focus on like racing lines and like where I'd run on the track and what to look for in a track. Now on these notes, I'll probably change it up before I send it to you. All these notes are kind of like for outdoor, but they still work pretty much at every single track. And also I had something at Charlotte as well. But what you want to do, and I'm gonna go out here with you. I'm not gonna race. I'm just basically gonna show you kind of how what I'd run on like a track like this and like what to really look for. So just follow me out here. We're not gonna race. We're just gonna like just basically just pace around the track. Always here, especially in like 1 and 2, like you can see up here on the cushion, there's still a lot of cushion up here. Top's always good to run, but obviously when you're running top, especially like half miles that carry so much speed, you want to be very easy on like your throttle input. You don't want to get too sideways, but you also don't want to give it too less throttle to where like it's pushing tight on you, because if you do, then you're just going to go straight in the wall just like that. Top's always good here. I mean, it's a half mile, a lot of speed. And with the cushions like this juicy, like you'll probably see me on the top, especially at least in 1 and 2 here. In the middle, kind of like we were running earlier. For some reason, I hope they fix it. I like running in the middle here because it seems like it's always fast, no matter if the track's tacky or if it's like dead slick like this. Running in the middle, like right through here, even like if you run like above the slick, like right here where those marbles are, for some reason that's always fast. I don't know why, like running like in the middle, like the dead slick. I don't understand why that's so damn fast the way it is. iRacing really needs to fix that because it's not realistic at all. Because realistically, there's so much slick here. It should be like you should never really be here unless like you have to, and it should definitely not be like one of the fastest lines on the track. Bottom, I know it looks like there's a lot of like moisture down here, and I know it looks like you can probably like stick your left tire like right here and then get a good drive coming off the corner. For whatever reason, I don't know what it is. Early on in the race, like in qualifying or like heat races and stuff like that, bottom might be good. But like on a track like this, bottom, like you'll see on your lap times later, like you was running like 6 and 7s on the bottom. It's not consistent and it's not fast at all. These marbles up here, kind of like I mentioned, any track, that's why I'm glad we actually run a line of laps on here, that we can have some marbles formed up here. Always look for those marbles on the track, whether it's like a small patch, like you'll see, where's it at? I just seen it. Like a small patch like you see like right here. Always look for these marbles, especially the ones like right here where my car is. Always look for those marbles because those are always a good line to run. For whatever reason, I don't know. I always look for them in every single race I do. Like right here, there's a big patch of marbles. If you put your right rear right there and you keep the car straight coming off the exit, you'll gain a shit ton of speed, and also like you'll be very, very consistent. You're not really running the cushion, and you're not really running the middle. It's like you're running like a lane below the top and like lane above like the middle, and like it's always fast. So always look for those patch of marbles where it's big patches like you'll see in 3 and 4 here, like we've been seeing, or if it's like the small ones that we've seen in 1 and 2. Like always, especially on long races. Longer races, 40 laps officials, 75 laps on a dirt late model tour, especially in 100 laps. Always look for those marbles. And also, the biggest tip, I'm going to go ahead and pull off the track there. The biggest tip I can give you when it's like finding racing lines, on a track like this, or just any track in general, doesn't matter if you're leading, if you're second, or if you're dead last, don't get too complacent. Try different, always search. I don't care if you're leading, if you have a 6-second lead on somebody, you still want to be searching, because if I start off the race, the first 15 laps, I'm running the middle, and the middle's fast. Like I start 5th, and all of a sudden I'm running the middle, and I'm in first place, and I got a 1-second lead. Eventually, that middle potentially could go away. And when it does, then I'm going to have to search for lines. If I just stayed there and someone, let's say if the track goes to the top and it's like whipping around the cushion for like the remainder like 30 laps, but I'm still stuck on one in this specific line just because it was so good early on, I'm going to end up falling off, and guess what? The guys who are running the cushion are going to catch up to me like very, very quickly, and they're going to pass me, and by the time I get to the top, they're only going to be up to like a 1-second lead, and I'm basically going to be screwed. So don't get too complacent. Even if you're leading, always search for different lines, whether it's running the top, whether it's running like a short little slider line in 3 and 4, which always seems to be pretty damn good here, whether it's running the middle, or like you run in the middle and entry, and all of a sudden you cut down to the track just to get some of that exit speed coming off the bottom. That's fine too. Always search. Don't get too complacent. The biggest tip I can give you for finding speed and like all these racing lines is, like I said, never get too complacent. There's a good chance if you run the bottom, if you run the middle to start, that line will eventually goes away. Sometimes it don't. Sometimes you can just. There's been races I just went in the middle the entire race, or I just whipped the cushion, or ran in the bottom the entire race, and like nobody was able to touch me. Sometimes that does happen. If your lap times are slowing down a lot, by I'd say, if your lap times slow down a lot, then that's when you know like you need to search for a different line. If you start the feature, this is just an example. If you start the feature running like 16/8 to start, run in the middle, and if it's a 40 lap plus race, you don't want to lose more than 2/10 that whole entire race, because eventually that line's probably going to slow down. And if you start running 16/8, run in the middle, and then like a lap 28, you run a 17.2, a 17.3, then you're like almost a half a second off, and that probably means like that line's just completely gone away, and it's moved either up the track or to the bottom of the track. It's just, you always want to stay in like that 2/10 bracket if you want to be fast and if you want to be consistent and if you want to stay run towards the top of the running order. So that's my biggest key when it comes to, or biggest keys when it comes to like finding speed and like finding what the racing line is. Just never get too complacent. I've had a race 2 weeks ago running 360s at Knoxville, in a league race, and I whipped like the middle of the line just above the slick for about 20 laps, and then we had a caution, and then the line went down to the bottom, and I didn't go down to the bottom. I stayed running the same line, and I ended up getting beat because of it, and I went to the cushion like 2 laps too late, and I ended up losing by like a tenth and a half to Sean. So even I sometimes make that mistakes, and I gotta remember to like never get too complacent and always try different lines. But we got like 3 minutes here. You can go out, run some laps. I was gonna have you run 10 laps on the. Actually, we can do this right now. Go ahead and go out on the track. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to run a 30 lap feature set here. Run 10 laps on the bottom, 10 laps in the middle, and then 10 laps on the top. And then after that, we'll be finished.
I say we're not gonna have time for that.
Yeah, we will. So you can go past the checkered flag. Yeah, we'll have time for it. We'll be fine. Even if the check flag shows, as long as you don't exit your car, you don't crash it, then you'll be fine. So yeah, run 10 laps on the bottom here, then we'll go 10 laps on the middle, and then we'll run 10 laps like running top half of the track. Focus on like everything we worked on earlier, like even like running the bottom, running the middle, running the top, like roll out of the throttle, roll into the throttle. And if you have to, especially run the bottom, like don't be afraid to just use a little trail braking. Trail braking seems to always help.
That bottom sucks.
Yeah, I know. Just keep running it. We'll go about 4 mile laps here. Just run the bottom. That's what I said. Like if the track ever is like this, like don't ever be on the bottom unless for some reason like get through the wide and you have to. I don't know why. Like I watch like a real life racing here. Like the bottom always seems to be pretty damn good when like the Wood of Outlaws and shit goes here, but for whatever reason, iRacing is just not consistent. Even if you hit it perfect, like right there, you hit it pretty damn well. It's just not fast, and I don't understand. I wish it was. Because it would make this track even racier than all the way it is. Alright, we'll go 2 more laps here on the bottom, then we'll move up to the middle of the track. I think I'm pretty happy. We might actually not be able to finish this. Oh well. Hold up.
Middle.
Yeah, go ahead and run the middle. We might not be able to finish this. If not, it is what it is. Normally it lets you go overtime, but it might not. I'm not sure. I know, it says you have 30 minutes left. Oh yeah, keep doing that exact line you're running right there. And also, if you want, you can just get like a tad bit higher. But go ahead and keep doing that. Not that high, just a little bit lower. Just go ahead and keep.
Yeah.
Go,
Sending it a little too hard.
yeah, just go ahead and keep doing that, and I'm gonna talk to YouTube. But yeah, like I was saying, like I think it was a good session. When it comes to throttle control, like this one session, like I always seen like, and it is pretty like evident, like he improved like immediately when I started giving him tips. I mean, you just see in his lap times. You can see it like right now. Like, look, he's so much sure to come up the exit. Right there, he's still getting a little bit too sideways. But like, at this point, it's just nitpicking. The biggest adjustment period for him is like, can he consistently do this when he's running side by side with somebody or when he's racing somebody? Because I have seen it, like watching him live stream a video or live stream a race before. He can be fun. You can run all the laps you want to by yourself, and you can keep it straight, and you can do all this other stuff. But the biggest question when it comes to throttle control is, can you still hold that same regimen when it comes to like racing somebody? Like, if I go to pass him on the top, is he still going to keep that mindset? Like, is he still going to hear it? Like, he needs to hear like me in the back of his head. Like, just keep doing what you're doing. Be consistent, roll out of the throttle on entry, roll into the throttle on exit, keep the car straight, and just be consistent. He needs to hear that in the back of his head, like every race he does, whether he's racing by himself or he's racing with other people, because if he gets into a race with somebody and they blow by him on the top or they blow by him on the bottom or like they're racing side by side, will he get impatient enough to give it too much throttle and like go back to his old ways? That's one thing like I'm concerned of, and like I can't really do that. I can't really fix that in like one coaching session. But I'll say this, with the hour I've spent with him, let me go ahead and move to the top. Go ahead, after this lap, move to the top.
Top like on the wall top or just top up in the higher line?
Just top on the higher line. You don't have to run the cushion if you don't want to. Just higher than what you are right now. But like I was saying, he's improving. And it's not going to... This coaching session, although it's evident he definitely improved a lot, it's not going to help him, like... He's not all of a sudden going to go start winning races and, like, finishing top 3. Like, it's going to take some time. Like, it took me a lot of laps to get good at iRacing. See, right now, dude, I'm so happy because he's hitting the top as well as you can hit it. Right there, he's getting... Even then, like, dude, look at that! Look at that!
That looks really sloppy.
Brother, that was not sloppy at all. That was actually really damn good. You got a little bit too sideways on exit, but that's just like, at this point, it's just nitpicking. Like, you're holding the car straight. Like, dude, keep doing what you're doing. Like, just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing good. Like, he's improved so much. And that, as a coach, especially, this is my first coaching session I pretty much ever did.
Okay.
You're good. This is my first coaching session I ever did, and I'm honored that I get to be able to do this and start helping people, because that's at the end of the day, that's what I want to do. As I'm still starting to improve and getting better these last like 6 months, I've improved so much on the sim. And I'm not only competing with pros, I'm beating them now, and I want to give back, because as I'm helping them improve, I'm also improving myself, which I think actually like adds a lot to it. But dude, he's doing good. Like I said earlier, this one coaching session is not going to fix everything. He's still going to have to be able to practice this and like really start to take these tips and like actually apply them in actual races. But dude, overall, I'm impressed. He's improved, so, and that's all I can say. I'll let him make about 2 more laps here. I'll let him go to lap 100. But yeah, man, it's just, if you guys ever need coaching help, like one-on-one private help, for whatever it is, whether it's
The
racing,
ascent slid around.
whether it's racing lines, throttle control, driving techniques, like hitting a good qualifying line, like just whatever it is. If you ever need, if somebody just sit in and watch you race and give you some coaching tips, like live and in living color, or like if you want me a VOD review, like one of your races, like whatever it is, like I'm always open. Like feel free to hop in here, buy a coaching session. It's only I think $30 for an hour or $20 for an hour, 35 for 2 hours, and also I offer like build setup tips as well for the sprint car side mainly. Um, but yeah, if you ever need a coaching session, feel free to holler at me because I'm always willing to help. All right, go ahead and finish this lap. Tell you what, that last like slider line there was actually like really damn good. That's actually like you did that very very well. That's kind of how I was talking about earlier with like slider line and 3 and 4 being pretty damn good. Like you actually ran that pretty well. But if you have any questions, obviously we can't really do any like racing anymore. But like, if you have any questions, it's time to ask me. I actually, just do you have any questions at all about anything that we learned today? Like any like tips or like anything?
I mean, not at the moment. I mean, definitely the back up the corner thing was something I did not do before. But that's what one big thing you do in oval racing and whatnot is you back up your corner, especially as a track. NASCAR, you don't see it do it when the track changes, but dirt, obviously the track changes every lap. So
Yeah.
backing up your corner and how you go into the corner is something that I wasn't doing a whole lot of, but also when I did that top side, I was back down to like a 15.7, I think. So
Yeah.
definitely gotta just find the line.
Yep. I can't really look at your lap times because obviously the session ended, but just looking at your lines, like you was running the top like very well, like you were setting it consistently. I mean, a couple times you slid up too much and got into the wall, but that happens to all of us, like even me, especially in 3 and 4, like that. Hitting 3 and 4 on the top is like very difficult here. It takes a lot of practice, but dude, overall, the biggest question I have for you: do you feel like you improved at least a little bit?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I can actually drive the car and not feel actually. I had the drive.
Okay.
Anybody
Okay.
that knows me, that's my biggest bitch, and I have no drive. And definitely, I mean, we're just using the baseline setup by that everything provides, but you know,
Yes.
you can definitely feel the drive off the corner. I would have liked to seen how it would have worked in a. I know it's only just you and I, but see how it would have worked, you know, on a restart or whatnot to see. But I think that's where I see a lot of my struggles is around other cars. You know,
That's
solo
what.
is nice,
If
but around people.
That's okay. I'm so glad you just mentioned that because I literally just talked about it, and you'll watch when you watch this video back. You'll literally hear my thoughts about it. That's like, I wouldn't say it's like a huge concern for me, but it's definitely a concern. Like anybody can go hop in a solo session like this one and run consistent laps, like 100 consistent laps, like running through the middle, keeping the car straight, like doing everything you really need to be, like you really need to have good throttle control and be fast. But the biggest question, the biggest concern that I have is, can you do that with other cars on the track? Like if somebody, like if me and you are racing out here and I go to run by you on the top, are you still going to be able to keep the car straight and just remember all the tips I gave you throughout this whole test session? Like, can you still stay locked in the moment, not really worry about what the other car's doing? Like, because if you can, then you're going to be good and you'll be able to race with a lot of these guys that you've been, and especially in the splits that you've been in, you'll be able to be consistent and be able to race with these guys. But like if you go back to your old ways, so like if somebody goes to whip by you in the top or someone goes to pass you in the bottom, or if you're side by side with somebody, are you going to get too antsy and basically being too impatient and try to give it too much throttle because like you feel like that's the only way to be fast is giving it like the max throttle you possibly can, which is obviously we've shown in this test session it's not the
Yeah.
most optimal way to go about racing, especially on a slick track like this. So that's what I'm curious to see. Hopefully you can take all these tips. Hopefully you at least learn something, whether it's throttle control, racing lines, or like any of these tips I gave you. Hopefully like you can take this and like apply it to your actual like when you're racing with like officials or hosted or leagues, and all these tips I gave you, whether it's throttle control, like all this stuff applies to like pretty much every single dirt car on the sim. Throttle control specifically, like it's always important to have good throttle control, like every car on the sim when it comes to the dirt side. So, man, I appreciate you doing this with me. If you need any help, if you need more coaching sessions, because we did an hour here, and I did see a lot of improvement just from an hour. Pretty much right away, as I started giving you more tips, I see an improvement, which I love. But all this stuff's not going to fix itself by just having one coaching session.
Yeah.
You still got to be able to apply it and actually do this and like in your actual like racing routine and stuff like that. So if anytime you need like another coaching session or like just tips like racing lines or like getting better at restarts or just whatever it is, like be able, you know where to find me. I'm always in Discord and stuff like that. You can always send me a message. Even if I'm not around, I'll always post YouTube videos that I'll send a link to everybody who's part of the House Drivers team and anybody who's subscribed to my BBC Racing Academy. I'm always willing to help. So thank you so much. You're actually my first coaching session I pretty much ever did. So like I said, hopefully you learned something, and I appreciate you for giving me your time. And like I said, hopefully you learned something.
Yeah, no problem. And I'll jump in here as a marketing manager. If you guys want to do one of these coaching sessions with Peyton or any of our drivers, make sure you go to whiteknucklesetupshop.com, coaching sessions, and you can book a session with any of our builders and well as our drivers.
Yep.
And I mean, they definitely helped.
Yeah. And that's
And it's nice when you're just one-on-one. You know, you don't have all the distractions with all the other people jumping in on Discord, and you know,
yeah.
it's just you and your person, and it's helped. It's nice.
Yep. Well, that's good to hear. Like you mentioned, go to whiteknucklesetupshop.com and buy you a coaching session. It doesn't have to be me. We got other coaches available as well. And also I do building sessions as well, but that's mainly for sprint cars. But a cheap price, and you actually get help one-on-one help with me. It's not like you're going to another shop and paying $100 and you're not even getting like the main two guys on the team. We're not doing that here. But yeah, I'm happy that you learned something, and if you need any help, make sure to let me know. And if anybody else wants a coaching session, head on over to whiteknucklesetupshop.com, get you a coaching session, whether if it's me or just anybody else, and I'm always willing to help. Thank you, man.
Thank you.